What is up, everybody? It's your boy Duty back again with another video, and this time we're taking a look at our boy DSP's daily rap video after a short work day where he only had one stream because of course he had to take the night stream to record videos or react videos for of course Slayer, and it seems to be the only person each month paying $50 for a stupid react video, and apparently he takes that video and posts it on his channel, which I'm pretty sure no one watches. But whatever, I'm not going to complain how people spend their money. But of course, here in the Daily Wrap, there were two major segments, and the video was about 14 minutes long. It was pretty long, and usually when those run on that long, it's Phil coping and complaining and justifying one of his stupid opinions. And this was no different. And of course, he had to justify one stupid opinion, and then he had to cope with how terrible he played on Street Fighter. So I want to deal with both of those separately, being that the videos are long, especially the Street Fighter one. That one, whew, that was long. That was a lot of cope. But the one I really wanted to address here is this segment where Phil talks about his response. I mean, it's like a week and a half late. I guess it took him that long to figure out a proper response to his Zelda playthrough that made it on TikTok and Twitter that got almost 9 million views. Where Phil, of course, was playing the game poorly, just like he always does, and playing it half-hearted. And there was one segment where he was outside on a thunderstorm and lightning struck him because, of course, he didn't understand that you can't wear metal during a storm in Zelda. And this was something he knew when he played Breath of the Wild. It's a mechanic, or whatever Phil likes to call it, a mechanic in the game. And, you know, it adds a challenge to the game. It's something else. It's an environmental challenge that you have to be aware of. And of course, no, it's too much for Phil. It's too complicated. It served no purpose. It has no true meaning. So of course, Phil decided to trash it several weeks ago. And the video got viral on Twitter. A few people from the Zelda community took umbrage with Phil complaining about the game, and essentially said, if you're going to play this poorly, don't bother playing it. And Phil initially responded to it with a vague response, but I guess it took him a week and a half to figure out a proper response to it, and he did it yesterday, and you guys can watch that video. It was a 25-minute segment of him ranting and raving about, you know, mouth-breathing morons talking trash about him. So he continues talking about it on the Daily Wrap, and let's listen in to see what he has to say.
Short content day for me. Only one stream today. Originally today I was going to do a live react to the Xbox and then Starfield events and then do a little bit of gameplay squeezed in. I'm actually glad I didn't do that because since I was only doing one stream today of gameplay regardless, I wanted to at least be able to do a full session for you. Why no late stream today? Because this was the one day a month where I film my private react videos for patrons. I had, I believe, four. Well, okay, I know what it is. I had 4 videos I watched, 3 videos I recorded, if that makes sense. One video was like an hour long, and that's why I keep getting confused in my head. But anyway, it was 2 hours of work, and with the 2 hours of work that needed to be done, there was no way I was going to squeeze that between other streams. So I needed to take a night off to do it. Now, typically I would do it earlier in the month, but with the releases of Street Fighter 6 and everything, I wanted to take more time to play the new games when they came out. So that's why I waited till tonight to do it. So, what did we actually do today? Well, first of all, on the Level 1 podcast, I did actually talk a little bit about what I had seen of the Xbox event. I watched about a half an hour of it when I was having breakfast with my wife. Quite frankly, wasn't really impressed with the stuff that I was seeing, but I've only seen a half an hour out of an event that was over an hour long, and then there was the Starfield presentation, so I haven't really seen it yet. What I did talk about on the podcast was a couple important things, but the most important of all of them was essentially my ability, I feel, to defend myself and be able to say that I can say whatever the hell I want in a playthrough of mine and not have to be attacked by a bunch of morons all over the internet who take everything I say out of context.
Okay, I'm gonna sit here and yes, agree with you, Phil. You have every right to say whatever you want on your playthroughs or on Twitter or whatever the case is. That is your God-given right to do so. But Phil, it is our God-given right to criticize what you have to say and criticize your playthroughs. So, it goes both ways, Phil. Phil likes to believe that, free speech only works when it benefits him. Free speech works across the board. And on top of everything, Phil, you are a public figure. As much as you like to claim you're this small little content creator who likes to sit in his own little bubble, away from the drama, whatever. No, Phil, you are a public figure. You make money being a public figure, so everyone has the right to say or criticize whatever the hell they want to say about you, Phil. And just because you don't like it, that's a you problem, Phil. That's a personal problem, and you need to grow thicker skin. If not, maybe you shouldn't be streaming online. If you don't want that criticism or that heat, maybe you should go to work at Home Depot, or maybe the helicopter company,
and try to make me look stupid. A lot of people have been bothered because I guess
you make yourself look stupid, because the mere fact that you can't take any criticism and you have to spend 25 minutes on your podcast yesterday ranting and raving about something that was published 2 weeks ago just shows how stupid you are.
Some people did clips on TikTok or something that went viral saying, oh, I'm a horrible player of Zelda. Not that I...
No one said that, Phil. They clip you playing your video game and you were being half-assed with the game like you always are, right? And you started complaining that there's a mechanic in the game where if there's a thunderstorm and you're wearing metal, you can get struck with lightning. That's in the game. That's something that you know about in Breath of the Wild. And just because you got clipped and started ranting and raving and going off about that stupid mechanic, right? That's what they were criticizing. They were essentially saying, if you're going to play it this terribly, Phil, just don't play it at all. If you're going to put no effort to learn the mechanics, to learn the game, to actually be good at it, then don't play it. That's all they said. And just because it went viral doesn't make them stupid or moronic or attacking you. These are people that are in a Zelda community. They're not detractors, Phil. But of course, any little form of criticism that goes your way, you need to attack them. You need to attack whoever it is and classify them as morons, idiots, or whatever the case is. How about you look at that tweet and you say to yourself, okay, I can see their criticism. Either let me respond to the criticism and explain that, well, I'm not really a Zelda person. I'm just playing it casually. You can do that. But no, Phil goes the other route in calling everyone moron mouth breathers. And of course, that just causes everything to just stir up and kick up because people are going to respond to those type of attacks. And you were vague when it initially came out, but I guess, like I said, it took you 2 weeks to figure out a good response, or maybe it bothered you that it got so popular and viral both on TikTok and Twitter that someone brought it up and it just annoyed you.
Even care. Zelda hasn't even necessarily been my priority playthrough recently. I'm, balancing it with a million other games. I haven't played Breath of the Wild in like 6 to 7 years since when it came out or whatever it was. There's a million things here that come into play that, of course, when some moron clips you and tries to make a negative meme out of you, they don't account for.
Bill, they simply just said, if you're not willing to learn how to play the game, don't bother playing it. And that's a valid criticism, Phil. But of course, you feel like they're attacking you. And they're not attacking you. Yes, people in that post were laughing at you, making fun of you, detractors. I did myself. But the person that actually posted this was giving you criticism, which, of course, you deem every criticism as an attack. I love how you sit there and say, yeah, give me criticism. You can criticize me, give me critiques. I'm fine with that. But as soon as someone does, you go on the attack. Just like when people say stuff on your chat, your dents, your viewers, when they mildly criticize you, you need to feel like you need to attack them, and that's what you continuously do. And all that does, Phil, is just spawn more people that despise you. You think you ignoring it and you not dealing with the drama. 2 weeks ago, what happened? You said you're not dealing with the drama. Don't anybody talking about it in your chat. You're going to ban them. So it was kind of quiet. No one even talked about it anymore. But you were the one that decided that you were so annoyed that this went so viral that you had to spend 25 minutes to talk about this on yesterday's podcast. And all I did was just drudge it up. Because if you actually go to the tweet, it blew up even more because people wanted to know what the hell was he talking about. And I think it's up to like over 10 million views. So way to go, Phil. Good job.
Anyway, I'm not going to go into a ginormous rant about it because I already did so on my podcast this morning. I very, very legitimately defended my position, explaining that hilariously, the thing that I've been made fun of the most is actually an insanely stupid, nonsensical gameplay mechanic that shouldn't even be in the game. I'm just saying. But if you want my take on that, watch the...
It shouldn't be in the game. It shouldn't be in the game. I don't understand, Phil. I think it's actually pretty genius. I enjoy games, especially open world games that have weather patterns, weather system patterns. I love it when those weather patterns actually affect your character. For example, like there's a game called Wilhelm on PC that the weather, the changing in the weather and stuff like that impacts the player, and it's very cool because it adds another element to the gameplay that you need to consider. It's just like games that have water and food meter, where if you don't eat enough or drink enough water, your player becomes stagnant and tired and fatigued, and that again, impacts the gameplay. But of course, Phil, you felt salty that you got struck by lightning because you either forgot it was there or you were just playing it lazily, which I think that was the case, and people called you out on it and you're salty about it. You decided to go on a 25-minute rant yesterday, making yourself look so you look so petty. That's a good word, petty.
Podcast from this morning. I also talk a lot about how RPGs are getting way too lengthy, and that's really why I'm having a tough time right now trying to juggle all the games I'm juggling, because quite frankly, I probably should have beaten Zelda by now, but I'm 40 hours roughly into a game that's apparently 100 hours long.
It's 100 hours with side content, Phil. If you just played the main mission and do the occasional side contract, you would have beaten it, Phil. But no, you don't like to do that. You like to milk games when you're doing playthroughs to get tips, and when you don't get those tips, then you panic and you want to rush through the game. Why were you playing Oblivion? Why didn't you put Oblivion on hold a month ago so that you can spend those night streams that you played with Oblivion playing Zelda? Why didn't you do that? You would have beat the game a long time ago, Phil. So again, these are your choices that you're making, and when you get blowback or criticism that you don't, of course you don't like any criticism whatsoever, you go on these rants like you did yesterday. So anyway, check out my 25-minute, well, it's not 20, I cut it down because it was hysterical, but it was essentially him 25 minutes just ranting and raving about someone in the Zelda community criticizing the way he plays the game. And of course, that just, caused Phil to have a nervous breakdown. Oh my lord. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace out.